WWE Raw October 19, 2020 results and news roundup. The identity of the SmackDown mystery hacker was revealed on Raw, while Keith Lee suffered a controversial loss. Randy Orton had a message for McIntyre, and Retribution met The Fiend on the Raw season premiere. So friends, this is the complete cover of WWE Raw results and news. Kindly support this effort and subscribe if you are new. The Hurt Business vs Retribution on WWE Raw. Back after a break on Raw, Bobby Lashley was hammering away at T-Bar in the ring after the match began. Slapjack was tagged in, and Lashley hit the stalling suplex before Cedric came in. They isolated Slapjack before MVP tagged in, and the Hurt Business was dominating the match. Cedric was back and while Mace was running a distraction at ringside before Ali tagged in and took control of the match. The two teams were at a stalemate outside the ring when The Fiend appeared on the Titantron, and we headed for another break. Back to the show, Shelton Benjamin was dominating in the ring and tagged in Lashley, who cleaned house and hit a spear on T-Bar for a near fall. Lashley locked in the Hurt Lock on T-Bar and got the win. Result: The Hurt Business defeat Retribution. After the match, the lights went out again, and The Fiend reappeared and destroyed Retribution. AJ Styles was out next on Raw with Jordan Omegbayan as his bodyguard and said that he was a true leader and that Rollins had a messiah complex. He reclaimed his title as the face that runs the place and promised to beat Matt Riddle in their match. AJ's new bodyguard refused to leave the ring despite the referee telling him to. The ref began to count to 5 for him to leave the ring, but the Giant stopped the count and threatened the official before walking out himself. AJ Styles vs Matt Riddle on Raw. Riddle started off strong, but AJ's bodyguard caught him outside the ring and we headed for a break. Back on Raw, AJ was in control before Riddle hit an overhead kick and then cornered AJ for a big toss. Riddle hit the Broton, but Styles took him out with an upside-down stomp. Styles hit the Pele kick, but Riddle managed to hit the German suplex. AJ took another suplex but caught up with Riddle on the top rope where they brawled before both men went crashing down. AJ's bodyguard distracted Riddle, and it proved to be too costly. Styles recovered in time and hit the Styles Clash on Riddle for the win. Result: AJ Styles defeat Matt Riddle. Drew McIntyre was in a backstage interview and said that Randy was a selfish and evil man. Drew admitted that he had a temper problem and that Hell in a Cell match gave Randy the advantage, but he was still confident enough to go through with it. He threatened to crash Randy's interview later tonight before walking out. Asuka vs Lana Raw Women's Championship match. Asuka was taking it easy on Raw and taunted Lana early on before trying for the Asuka lock, but Lana found the bottom rope. Lana went for a roll-up and then kicked Asuka in the face for a near fall. Asuka hit a kick of her own, and the two traded strikes, and Asuka managed to lock in the Asuka lock for the win. Nia Jax's music hit just as the bell rang. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax sneaked up on Asuka and took her down. Nia sent Lana through the announce table once, and Asuka was caught by Shayna in the ring, but managed to escape. Result: Asuka defeat Lana to retain the Raw Women's Championship. Baszler and Jax were in the ring and bragged about their teamwork before bickering over what words to use in the promo. They challenged anyone who wanted to face them, and Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke answered the call, as well as the fresh team of Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce. The Riot Squad joined the lineup before the match began on Raw, and it was now a fatal 4-way tag match. The Riot Squad joined the lineup before the match began on Raw, and it was now a fatal 4-way tag match. Hey guys, if you are loving the video, a sub would be massively appreciated. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax vs Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke vs Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce vs the Riot Squad on WWE Raw. Brooke and Baszler kicked us off, but then a brawl broke out between the four teams and we learned that it wasn't a title match. The Riot Squad hit dives on the rest of the teams that were fighting at ringside, taking them all out before we headed for commercials. Back on Raw, the Riot Squad was dominating in the ring, but Nia Jax came in with some big moves and Evans hit the women's right on Ruby. Riot Squad hit a double team on Lacey and almost got the pin, but the tag champs broke the pin. Shayna cleared the way and Nia hit the Samhain drop on Lacey in the middle of the ring for the big win on Raw. Result: Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax won the fatal 4-way tag match. Elias was out for his musical comeback on Raw, and his first song was called Amen and was directed at Jeff Hardy. He had a whole band and it was actually a good song. He came back for an encore, but a hooded guitar player started showing off, and it turned out to be Jeff Hardy. Hardy swung Elias's own guitar at him, but he ducked and ran away. Backstage on Raw, Tucker threatened Miz and Morrison for ruining Otis's life. Tucker said he would find another tag partner and face them, and the A-lister agreed to it before laughing at the idea that Tucker will ever find anyone to join him. Elias was furious about Hardy's interruption and challenged him to a match at Hell in a Cell. The New Day were out and Sheamus came out to make fun of them and call them two turds of the New Day. New Day fired back and told Sheamus to join Kofi in the ring. Sheamus agreed and we headed for a singles match on Raw. Kofi Kingston vs Sheamus on WWE Raw. Sheamus started off strong and sent Kofi outside before dropping him on the apron. Back after a break on Raw, Sheamus hit a clothesline and then chops on the ropes. Kofi was down, and Big E was seen in the virtual audience before Kingston hit a huge double stomp. Kofi hit the boom drop and pointed at Big E before going for the pin, but Sheamus kicked out. Sheamus went for the cloverleaf, and Kofi turned it into a pin attempt. Kofi missed the finisher and took an Alabama slam before they went up top, and Kofi hit a big move. Mark Henry was spotted in the audience as well. Kofi managed to hit the Trouble in Paradise and get the win. Result? Kofi Kingston defeats Sheamus. Retribution and Ali were backstage on Raw, and Ali said that he has learned all of WWE's secrets and confessed to being the mystery hacker who exposed things in the past, like Sonya Deville and Dolph Ziggler's plot against Mandy Rose and Otis. Titus O'Neil was backstage on Raw and approached the Hurt Business, asking to join them, but they faked interest in his offer before attacking him. Miz and Morrison were out and called Tucker out to reveal his tag team partner. Tucker came out and said that he found the world's greatest luchador, El Gran Gordo, who looked suspiciously like Otis in a mask. The Miz and Morrison saw through the disguise and kept insulting Otis for wasting the Money in the Bank contract, calling him a joke. Miz went on about how he was champion material and Otis was not. Miz said that Otis was the underdog because people felt sorry for him. Heavy Machinery attacked Miz and Morrison, and the match was set to start as we headed for a break on Raw. Heavy Machinery vs Miz and Morrison on WWE Raw. Morrison and Tucker were in the ring when we returned to Raw, and Tucker was isolated early on, and the heels were in control. Otis finally got the tag and was able to put Miz down and sent Morrison out of the ring. He hit a crazy Hurricane Rana from the second rope to the Miz before taking out Morrison. The Miz went for the skull-crushing finale, but R-Truth ran through the ring with the 24/7 title, being pursued by Tozawa and Gulak. The Lucha House Party came out to support Otis, or rather El Gran Gordo, who hit the Caterpillar and the Vader Bomb on Miz and picked up the win on Raw. Result? Heavy Machinery defeat Miz and Morrison. Backstage on Raw, El Gran Gordo and Tucker were celebrating their win with the New Day when Mandy Rose appeared with a whole ham for Otis, Gordo. Bray Wyatt welcomed us to the Firefly Funhouse, and Rambling Rabbit got eaten by the Vulture after Bray promised his safety. There was a knock on the door, and Alexa Bliss came in, saying that the fun was just getting started. Braun Strowman vs Keith Lee on WWE Raw. Lee was tossed out of the ring and came back to attack Braun's ribs, which were damaged by Roman Reigns on SmackDown. Ric Flair and JBL were in the audience as Lee continued to dominate and even picked up Strowman. Strowman hit a low blow and the referee missed it. Braun followed up with a big boot and took down Keith Lee for good on Raw. Result? Braun Strowman defeat Keith Lee. Lee returned for a low blow on Braun after the match, and he was furious. Randy Orton was out next and stepped inside Hell in a Cell with a chair and sat down on it in the ring. He talked about how he realized what he was truly capable of inside the Hell in Cell. He spoke about his past matches with Sheamus, John Cena, Jeff Hardy, Daniel Bryan, and others, especially The Undertaker, whose respect he earned. Randy kept rambling about legends and Drew McIntyre came out. Orton was locked inside the cage and thought he was safe, but Drew got some chain cutters and got in. The show ended just as Randy was about to get into a fight with the champ. So, this was it for today. I am tired now. Hope you all loved the video. Don't forget to support your brother. Subscribe the channel and share the video. I will see you in the next one, peace out.